Yeah, I think again, just we're trying to continue to improve in areas we need to improve, tighten up things, be more consistent about certain things in games, close up errors, close out games better, things like that. So we're just, again, I don't know. I genuinely feel over the last 4 or 5 games that we should have a few wins out of those games, and we should have closed out the last game, and we don't. And these are things that we have to improve upon. But there's details over the last, we'll call it 4 weeks, because we've had lots of training, it feels like, and not many games, and then some time off. But I feel like we've been able to accomplish some things on the training field. I'm seeing progress on the training field in some areas, and for some players that we're trying to integrate into our system who maybe didn't have a preseason with us, and then it's just been going game after game. So I'm feeling progress in the group, and so now it's not just translating that into decent to good performances. It's translating it into wins and making every play we have to make through the course of the game in the last few minutes, things like that. So I've challenged the guys in terms of what we want to try to do with our results, especially through the second half of the season. What our targets are, and for us it's just, again, one game at a time. Can we get the result, but also can we perform better in the ways that we're trying to tighten up, and can individuals continue to grow inside of the vision of where we want to be as we continue to work through kind of this process.
We head into a pretty busy July here. With availability, everybody except for Riqui Puig, everybody seems to be available.
So far, I mean, we're coming off, so we were able to give Diego some time off with the foot issue. He was in training the last couple of days, so barring side effects from the training, he'll continue and be involved with us. It's as we run through this busy time period, it's trying to keep guys healthy as we go. But so far I feel like we're in a good spot health-wise, and now it's going to be managing travel and schedules, and we had a mandatory 5 days off, and it feels awkward coming after 5 days off and then immediately jumping into 2 games almost back-to-back on the road, but our preparations have been based off of those kinds of things. So I think we're all ready to get back into games and check our progress and work towards some good results. Yeah, they're a solid team. Obviously, they're organized on the defensive side. They like to really choose in their moments when they can be aggressive and press, and when they can recover balls. They're direct and fast in the transitions. That plays in their favor. So again, we've got to be able to take care of balls, manage the moments when they're extending their press. When we break it, we need the Joes and the Gabes and the Nasis and the guys up top that can really utilize that space, kind of stuff we saw in the playoffs, where when they get overextended or they overpress and we can break that press, can we punish them? For us, it's also managing our possessions cleaner. And I felt like in the hot conditions of St. Louis, I felt like we lost some balls a little bit too easily, which then creates transition moments for teams that like to be in transition. We got to be tidier in those situations. We've got to finish our chances. We had some chances in St. Louis that have to be in the back of the net, and we didn't. But they're a feisty team. Obviously, with Chris as their coach, they're going to have a strong mentality. They haven't been able to lately figure out how to turn some of their things into results, some of their performances into results. So, and they've tried a couple of different things here over the last few weeks. So it's really for us to go in there and manage the game, manage the conditions, manage the fact that we're bouncing back off of a 2-week break and all that kind of stuff. So we've just got to go in and really concentrate on ourselves and solve the challenges of the day as they present themselves.
Alex?
Hi, Greg. Thank you for your time. Some of the players, went on vacation, had some time off, like you said. Being a coach and being a former player, how important is it to kind of maybe have those moments, and especially, for the guys who kind of dealt with, this start of the season, how important is it to just reset?
Yeah, I think it's good for guys. I think, especially for our group who played late into the year last year and felt like we were right back into a new season quickly. obviously said the challenges of the new season, how quickly the games were coming, the travel in the early part of the season. We're at that just beyond that midpoint. I think it's nice for guys in what's going to be another long year just to be able to reset and come back out, clear their minds a little bit, come back out and get ready to work. And I think the guys' response coming off of the 5 days was excellent. The training week has been really good. The engagement's been really good. So I felt like we kind of hit the ground running, and I think it's also good for guys just to clear their minds and to get back to it. So I'm okay with it. I don't love that we're bouncing out of it, playing 2 games back to back in like 3 days on the road. I think that's a interesting physical ask, for the group. But at the same time, you manage what you got to manage, and we will be prepared.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too, just about the youth side of things. We saw the U19s win the MLS Next Cup. I think it was yesterday. The three-peat, I guess, for that group. Just what have you seen and kind of how those guys are developing as well, and also your son as well, kind of just being a catalyst player on that squad as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, first I think for all the guys across the academy and all the age groups, I think they've done just a really nice job of implementing our principles of play, the way we view the game, the things that we prioritize. Our teams, if you go out there, and I was out there over the last week, that's where I had my days off. I was out and helping those guys and being a resource for them. When you watch our teams play, we play different than every other team that's out there. And so the use of the ball, the understanding of time and space, and the intelligence of the group is just different. And so Sean at that level is now Sean Shakiris, that group has won 3 national championships back to back to back. They've had some subtle changes within the group because we've had a few 06s, then it was the 07s, and now it was a combination of 07s and 08s. So new players have come in. The depth of the group has been great, which has been really interesting because the conditions out there are warm, and our ability to use the ball and to have a deep roster just kind of buried teams over the course of these longer games. And so I'm proud of the guys. I think everybody out there is doing a good job of implementing, again, the things that we think are valuable in our game, and we're seeing a lot of these young players come along and starting to show their quality. Look, as far as Dylan, I think smart player. He's growing into himself. He's one that, he's over the last sort of 12 months, 6 to 12 months, he's physically really changed. He's grown up, and so he's gone from being, 5'6", 5'7" to 5'11" over the course of 6 foot over the course of the last sort of year and change, and starting to physically grow out and gain more physical confidence. And so with that goes his soccer IQ and his technique and things, but he's now physically growing into himself. And so I feel like for him, it's been nice watching him sort of transition from a boy into a man, and how that's going to translate into his game. We'll see. For us, we've always stay true to the process, keep learning and getting better. All of the other noise or anything that's out there doesn't matter. It's really about every single day trying to get better at your craft, and the game will take you wherever the game takes you. It's for him is just to keep focusing on how to improve every single day. So we'll see where it goes from here. It was nice to watch him out there, and Mason as well, and the whole group just play good soccer. To be honest, to play good soccer and dominate and bring home a championship was good for them all.
Thanks, Alex. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Greg. Thank you so much for your time. John let us know that you've been telling the group, or impressing upon the group, that it's a new season, or the start to a new season, or the slate has been wiped clean. But looking back on that first half of the season, is there anything that you would improve upon, or jumps right out at you that this team needs to improve upon to reach its goals for the second half of the season? Thank you.
Yeah, I think, again, I think there's a couple things. To be honest with you, there was about a shift about 4 weeks ago, also just from myself, and going, you know what, I need to train this team differently than the team last year and the team in the past. And we've got a lot of younger players, and things that we were working on in the past and how we achieved success last year wasn't necessarily the right formula for this particular group. We've shifted into doing a lot more kind of teaching and situational training, and really focusing on certain relationships on the field. For example, our pivots really working more in sync because having Lucas, who's a new player, Elijah, who's a new player, those guys, you could tell that some of the in-sync stuff that we had when we had the other guys last year, we could tell there was some disjointedness from there and trying to bring guys along. So we've really just tried to become a lot more specific over the last 4 weeks or so about, again, the things that I mentioned. And so for me, part of it has just been shifting my approach with the group. I think that's going to help. I see progress. I see real progress in the training sessions over the things that we want to improve upon, which I'm really liking. Inside of that, I think managing situations, not making mistakes, dealing with at the end of St. Louis when they just launch a straight ball into our box, we've got to manage situations like that and others through the course of the game better. While at the same time we improve sort of our collective play. We need to get sharper in the final action because we're leaving some real opportunities on the table. So there's areas that we need to improve upon, but I think collectively, me shifting my approach and how I'm working with the group, how I'm kind of teaching a little bit differently, is helping for sure our young players to come along a little bit, maybe a little faster. But now to be fair to the situation, we've had a lot more training time in the last 4 weeks than we had in a good chunk of the first part of the season because the games were coming fast. So what I want to see progress from the younger players. I want to see again as a group, us being more disciplined, cleaner in certain parts of the game, and to manage situations better for specifically on the defensive side. And if we do that, I think all those things, because I don't think the margins are huge for us. If we do all those things, then I think the net result is going to be better results. And because I don't think we're going out in the field and we're getting outplayed by many, if any, of these teams. And I think the game is coming down to details. It's coming down to execution in certain areas of the game. And if we do that, we can improve on our results. At the same time, we can improve upon our performances and where we're trying to get to as a team.
And we're about a month and some change away from August, which would be about 9 months since Riqui's initial injury. Is there a timeline for his return at the moment? Thank you.
I don't know. I think there's kind of some targets, but to be fair, Riqui's back. He's here over the next week or so. He's going to really start working more on the field and the grass and in his running, and then that'll translate eventually into doing stuff with the ball. And so I think our sense is, the process will tell us ultimately what the timeline is going to look like, and then the sense of how much do we want to rush, which is not going to happen, but how much time do we really need? The importance for us is to really make sure that Riqui has the appropriate amount of time to be safe when he comes back, and that we eliminate some of the subsequent stuff, injuries, if you will, little things that can come off of guys being out for this long. And so it's really trying to be safe about getting him back. He's such an important player to the franchise and to our team, and the way he plays the game is so unique that we want to take the right steps. We're doing that in consultation with obviously the doctors and the physical therapy group and our training staff and everybody that's around him, and our discussions internally are about what's best for Riqui to make sure that we give him the best chance to come back successfully and to do it one time.